baffe n'abagabi b'obuyambi okuba nga basobola ebitunga bino mu linnya lya paati n'ery'omwana n'ery'omwoyo.
The facility was spearheaded by Partners for Community Transformation, packed at an estimated cost of shilling 2 billion. In attendance were local leaders led by the Lands Minister, Judith Nabakoba.
Ekizimbe kirungi nnyo ddala. Tukimanyi nti era ebyetaagisibwamu byonna ne mukulu wa Health, Commissioner wa Health, waali bijja kuba bikola ki? Bigendamu okusobola okusobozesa abakyala baffe okuzaala obulungi. Ebyobulamu tebisaanamu bya bufuzi. Ate obulwadde tebusosola mu kkala. Nga buluma w'NUP obuluma n'ow'NRM.
Maama era ekintu ekirala olitambuddemu n'olaba nti bingi ebyetaagisa naddala ebitanda ebizaalirwako era tusaba nga tuyitamu ggwe okulaba nti ebitanda ebyo nabyo tubifuna ku ddwaliro lino.
Minister Nabakoba, however, made some requests to the visiting Premier and government at large.
Kye twandirabye nti kyetaagisa mu bwangu ddala kwe kulaba nti maternity eno eri nkiyite ntya wiring okubeera nti amasannyalaze gatuukamu kubanga maama bwe tubadde tugitambula amasannyalaze wiring tenakolebwa. Twagala wiring mu ddwaliro lyaffe lino tusobole okuba nti tuyingiza amasannyalaze nga bwe gali wano ate ne sola esobole okuba nti ekolera mu sisitimu y'emu.
Teekamu amasannyalaze abantu baake bamaama bazaale azaala akaana akalengerako bw'ati ku masannyalaze baki.
Prime Minister Robin Anabanja was equally excited about the initiative.
Nenjagala kusaba listi y'abasawo tulabe abasawo waliwo ani naani. Musawo in charge nga sinava wano eyo listi bagimpe. Ku bantu 15 tutegeere weebali oba tebaliiwo. Kubanga abamu babeera wano ate ne bamukyusa ne bamutwala ewalala era ennyanga liri wano afunira wano omusaala ate nga takola wano.
She, however, challenged Mityana residents and Ugandans at large to always entrust their vote with the NRM party, which stands for development, peace and stability.
President Museveni ayina byakoze nawe byolabako. Ate olaba ng'amaaso ge gonna gatunulidde kuweereza mu Uganda. Kati abatamuwagira mbasaasidde. Kubanga kambabeerere b'amazima lino eggwanga lya Uganda n'ejjuzi nakyogedde. Okusinziira ku mirimu gye mbadde ndaba ng'akola emyezi 10 gye mmaze nga ndi Prime Minister guno gwa 11. Uganda nkiddamu eyagala omukulembeze nga takyukako ku bwongo katono. Kati bw'omala okuteekako ate Museveni eri waggulu n'omuteekako Oseegumira omusajja ow'amaanyi. Tuli ffenna kakati bino bibanga bya mmotoka eringa baasi. Tosobola kuddira mupiira gwa baasi ate oba akazijeko ogwa baasi tekeko ogw'eggaali oba tekeko akapiira ka pikipiki oba tuli ffenna kakati singa situmanyi biri eyo mu maaso naye bwe mulaba nti ebbaasi etandise okutambula waliwo Seegumire alese Prime Minister kakati mwete Nabakoba President yajje wano.
The Prime Minister also left behind a call for support towards the government programs whose major target is to uplift their livelihoods through income generation. Robert Onyango and Henry Crute for UBC News.
Government has come up with a move on mandatory DNA profiling for citizens intending to renew and to apply for identification cards. Minister for Internal Affairs David Muhoozi, in a statement on proposed roadmap on enrollment and renewal of national IDs presented to Parliament, and said that one's DNA is one of the conditions for renewal and applications for national IDs come 2023.
DP3. A. Registration of the remaining 17.2 million unregistered citizens. B.
In January 2023, Ministry of Internal Affairs will roll out the mass enrollment and renewal of national identification cards in an exercise expected to cost over 400 billion shillings. The mass project, expected to start in January 2023, is projected to go up to August 2025 and will cover all districts and age groups except those below 7 years.
812 below 18 years. It is assumed that 50% are below 7 years and therefore will not have biometrics taken.
Contrary to the earlier 2014 project, the impending project will bring on board advanced technology of digitalized smart national identification cards.
Mass enrollment process, and registered Ugandans will use online services to pre-register and capture their biodata.
A point to note is that all citizens renewing their IDs come 2023 will now be required to have their DNA captured and also meet costs of renewal payable to Uganda Revenue Authority.
For citizens who do not seek an express service, the full cost of the new card will be borne by government.
The IDs cost so much, as if that is not enough. The delays are so embarrassing.
Those applying for the first time will not meet the cost, except those applying on express basis.
The national ID mandatory for whatever I'm going to do, from banking to getting salary to what, then you cannot again make it a revenue generation exercise.
The concerns by some legislators nonetheless were not only limited to efficiency of the ministry and the tax tag renewal of IDs, but also safety and privacy of citizens on the issue of DNA.
Do you want to profile the blood of the people of Uganda? Is that so? Because that will be unprecedented.
About 17 million Ugandans who do not have national identification cards will now be enrolled come 2023. Susan Naong and Gloria Guitabinji reporting for UBC TV.
Still in UBC News tonight, a team from the African Development Bank East African region has paid a visit to the Ministry of Finance to assess how Uganda is progressing and to listen to challenges being faced. Now, during the meeting, it was agreed that the joint venture between Madvani Group and Uganda Development Corporation be concluded to handle production of industrial sugar. Take a look.
Reviving of the road fund and getting money from different sources were among the recommendations made by the Director General, African Development Bank, East African Region, Nenalire Nabufo, while meeting the Finance Minister, Matia Kasaija.
The joint venture between Madvani Group and the UDC, Uganda Development Corporation, also should be concluded as quickly as possible. You know that the JV will be handling the production of industrial sugar. We must fund or get money for maintenance of roads when they have been constructed. And I told them that yesterday I was in the Parliament and we agreed that the road fund must be revived and must get money from different sources.
While interacting with officials from the Ministry of Finance, a delegation from the African Development Bank noted that there is need to compensate the project-affected persons.
We have handled that matter. We have not completed along the whole track, but I know some people have been compensated, and if we really started working, there would be space where people can work, where the contractors can work without being bothered by the people who are living around, because those who are living around the track, particularly from Malaba, have been compensated.
African Development Bank Director General, East African Region, Nenalile Nabufo, advocates for advanced procurement and expresses the need for training and engaging procurement officers.
Ask our procurement and financial management team to come and have a workshop, physical. We're here with them soon. Train their teams, sit down with their teams, tell them what are the procedures, the expectations, so that they can go back and begin to prepare this procurement. So we are hoping that with that engagement, that all the procurements can start.
The team from the African Development Bank East African Region is to visit its funded projects to assess their progress. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Minister for Science, Technology and Innovations, Dr. Monica Msenero, has reassured the public that the country is still on track with the manufacturing of the COVID-19 vaccine and other vaccines. Minister Msenero stated that one of the COVID-19 vaccines has undergone the first and second stages of mice tests, and once all tests are done, human trials will start by end of June 2022. She revealed this during the symposium on Uganda's pathogen economy and opportunities for the national socio-economic transformation held here in Kampala district.
The Pathogen Economy Symposium kicked off with the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Monica Msenero, announcing that COVID-19 vaccine has undergone the first and the second stages of mice tests, waiting for the third stage.
Doing the studies in the humanized mice, we had a bit of delays in getting the humanized mice, but they are now in the country. We are breeding them to expand. One of our vaccines already finished the first and second stage of mice tests. Now we are waiting to test in these special mice once they have increased in number, because we have many that we need to test each vaccine. So that first vaccine, once it finishes that, we hope by end of June we'll have finished that mouse studies. Then it will prepare it to start going into clinical trials for human beings. The other two vaccines are also coming. They were going final stages of purification, and they are going to start in the first stage of mice. We are still within the timelines that we promised. So Uganda is going to produce the vaccine, but we have also now started looking at other vaccines.
The Pathogen Economy Symposium was attended by scientists from different walks of life who deliberated on issues affecting their line of work. The minister called for a revamp of university education for mindset change, industrialization and commercialization of the economy.
But I've asked, how can we revamp university education for us to go into this industrialization phase and commercialization phase? Because the current one we have, which produces people who are full of knowledge of yesterday, it doesn't take us into the future.
Some of the issues that came up during the deliberations included, among others, use of herbal medicine and patent of innovations.
I mentioned earlier on, we've had a bit of a challenge with the herbal sector because of not having a proper law that regulates. Thankfully, the Parliament and the President have given us that law, and process began to have it operationalized. However, for those that want to take their products to the market, it is important that we observe the existing regulatory framework. And we must also understand that NDA does not operate in a vacuum, but operate in a global ecosystem of regulation.
Zahara Abigaba, UBC News.
In more stories, business at Lalogi Town Council, Omoro District was today brought to a standstill when a huge crowd welcoming Andrew Ojok Olanya thronged the Town Council. Andrew Ojok Olanya was today nominated by the Electoral Commission in Omoro District for the race to replace his father, Jacob Lokori Olanya. Nominations for Omoro County constituency ended at 5 p.m. today. Now, candidates will begin official campaigns on Monday after the harmonization of campaign programs on Saturday. Watch.
By 9 a.m., the Electoral Commission was already set at the Council Hall in Omoro District. 30 minutes later came the first candidate for the second day of the nomination. Flanked by his wife, nominator and seconder, Andrew Ojok Olanya, was cleared for the race to replace his father, Jacob Olanya. After the nomination, Ojok received a heroic reception from the crowd who marched him through the streets of Lalogi. Business was brought to a standstill as a huge fleet of cars and excited crowd made their way. Andrew Ojok Olanya, who is seeking to replace his father, says his dad cherishes peace, a reason why he has also called for peace during this by-election.
It's a journey that we're going to be very deliberate about to see we improve service delivery in Omoro and in the greater north as well. So our journey it's going to be a step-by-step approach. We'll bring in everyone, it'll be consultative. I want to build a team that is for the people.
Ojok said his father left a debt and his bid is to pay it.
It is said that a vote is a debt to the people, and that debt was put on my father, who is no longer with us. So I feel we are indebted to the people of Omoro to make sure we meet that need. So the issues of the road, the Moroto road that is yet to be tarmacked, that is something we need to focus really on. This of education, of safe drinking water. There are so many things that yet started but have been left on the way.
The NRM Director for Mobilization, Rosemary Seninde, and the team have also pitched camp in Omoro district.
5 years, NRM is in power. So voting for somebody who is going to oppose this government will not help them. So we appeal to them to vote for somebody who is going to work with the government in power and be able to fight for their cause.
6 candidates were officially nominated for the race to replace the former Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Lokorio Lanyang. FDC presented another candidate after their first choice candidate was allegedly kidnapped.
What I know, our first candidate who has been entrusted by the party, he has been abducted, and up to now we don't know where he is. And I'm ready to face anything. I will not be tempted to be bribed, to be intimidated, because I'm here, my life belongs to God.
Candidates will have 9 days to canvass for votes. Election for Omoro County constituency will take place on the 26th of this month. Eddie Olwa, UBC News.
The Inspector General of Government has asked traditional leaders in northern Uganda to join the bandwagon in the fight against corruption in Uganda. Speaking from Kwaro Acholi, Patricia Achan Okidia, the Deputy Inspector General of Government, told Rot David Onen Ochana the second that the fight against corruption requires strong alliance with different stakeholders, including traditional leaders. We have details on this story.
In the new strategy, the Inspector General of Government is inciting all Ugandans to hate corruption. In this new strategy, traditional leaders too have been brought on board in the fight against graft.
When the fight against corruption is taken to the cultural leadership with the structures all over, with the chiefs spread out, then they can be able to reach the community better.
Speaking from Kwaro Acholi, Patricia Achen Okiro, the Deputy Inspector General of Government, said her visit to the Acholi Paramount Chief, Rot David Onen Achana II, is to create a strong partnership between Acholi Kwaro and the IGG office in the fight against corruption.
This visit has been a courtesy call so that we can form strategies and see how we can work better, or to mobilize the people to join hands and rally behind the fight against corruption.
Ojok Odong, a filmmaker, says it's very thoughtful for the Office of the Inspector General of Government to bring the cultural leaders on board in the fight against corruption for the important role in moral upbringing in society.
That a responsible person should be accountable to himself, to the family that he hates, to the society or to the clan where he comes from, and like to the whole tribe.
Creative approach of mindset and attitude change as regards to corruption.
The Acholi Paramount Chief, Rot David Onen Achana II, says for better service delivery to the local population in the country, all Uganda must be involved in the fight against corruption.
Working with any entity shouldn't be a problem because our roles are clearly defined and work.
Moving on, State Minister for Economic Monitoring Peter Ogwang has arrested 2 government civil servants for mismanaging government funds, and presiding over shoddy works. Ogwang vowed to crush all those who waste government resources meant to benefit citizens. Now, this was at the closure of a week's inspection for government projects in Wakiso district. Ivan Jurko has a detailed report on this story.
It's a week now since Minister Peter Ogwang started the economic monitoring and assessment of government projects in Wakiso district. Friday morning, Ogwang first visited St. Jude Banda Catholic Primary School in Mende sub-county, where 88 million Ugandan shillings was disbursed to construct 2 classroom blocks The state of the classrooms were in bad condition, and the minister used the tape measure to find out the standard measurements. A few kilometers away is a community health facility. However, upon arrival of State Minister Peter Ogwang, the staff quarters hadn't been completed, with work still undergoing. Minister Ogwang lost his temper, having been availed with the report that the same quarters are being funded by Busiro East Member of Parliament Medad Luwega Segona.
Like you saw, showed works, which of course makes government to lose money. On the issue of the staff house, I discovered that it's my colleague, the Member of Parliament, is his initiative. And now they are beginning to claim government has to complete it.
At Kababi village, it was assuming that out of the 1.8 kilometer road connecting to Kalita, Kababi via Chitulungo and Busauli, that only 0.46 kilometer had been done. Mende Mayor Peter Mutuma accused them for refusing to avail him with the information pertaining the road construction.
It was 2019-2020. That is the COVID time they were just keeping them.
Nenjogera ne chief eroba mitanga Shenoga nanga nti chairman ebyo tebikukwata ko shanje byakola ki byagwa.
In the same location is St. Timothy Kababi Bulondo, where poor workmanship was visible, with the school having no water tanks. Ogwang proceeded to the site where Wachiso Town Council headquarters, and the market had to be constructed. However, here everything seemed to be messed up, as the facilities were not completed. Over 7,000 million Ugandan shillings had been spent on the market, with 400 million spent on compensating the residents and 300 on construction.
150 million they are talking about, it is their money. They collect from themselves.
Nga abasuubuza abawansi tetuzisobola ina okusasula miliyoni 5 mu emitwalo 6 ow'ennyaanya atandikibwako.
The complaint she has raised is one which has made the Minister of Trade and Industry to put up a standard rate which should be levied on some of these charges.
Wachiso Town Council Clerk Livingstone Kasibante sweated plasma as he was tasked to explain the expenditures for the facilities.
What is the total value of the contract? You tell me, Town Clerk.
It was 3.5 billion.
For how many years?
It was supposed to be 2 years.
Monitoring visit went as far as Wachiso Health Center 4, where a modern shelter had to be built. But what one witnessed was equally similar to a dusty floor, prompting the arrest of the structure engineer, Ewan Sebugwao. Wachiso Town Council Clerk Livingstone Kasivante couldn't escape. He was arrested for poor workmanship and shadow works on the Town Council Hall at a budget of 49 million Ugandan shillings allocated for the structure. Livingstone Kasivante was ordered to sit on the patrol truck. At Chikade village in Namusera sub-county, Minister Peter Ogwang was shocked to learn that 75 million released for construction of 5 modern boreholes, none existed. It was not different in Mende, where funds were dispersed for water and environment project meant to benefit people with disability, as 10,000-litre tank was given to them instead of a 20-litre tank. At the end of this week's inspection, 10 civil servants have been arrested for mismanaging government funds and shadow works. As the head of State House and Corruption Unit, Brigadier General Henry Isoke highlights.
It is not a one-man war. It is not just for the State House and Corruption Unit. It is a constitutional obligation for every citizen to ensure that crime is resisted and reported.
Deborah Namamonde, Ivan Juko, UBC News.
Now we'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more stories.
Today in history.
Winnie Mandela, former African National Congress Women League President and Deputy Minister of Arts and Culture, was found guilty on 4 charges of kidnapping and 4 of being an accessory after the fact to assault. The case arose from the fact that one of the kidnapped youths, 14-year-old Stopi Sepe, had been found dead from his injuries near the crime scene.
about my waka. Now come and see for yourself, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo.
Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
Affordable packages, great entertainment, sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Go TV. This is where great stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Uganda shillings per month. GoTV, great stories. Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network. We bring you a fresh, well-researched program to help you identify opportunities for investment, job creation, growing your entrepreneurial skills, wealth creation, and social transformation. Create wealth, transform livelihoods. Every week, we showcase opportunities for creating new products and services. Excellence in innovation, the passion and drive to succeed, and the right mindset to grow your business. Create wealth, transform livelihoods. Brought to you by Operation Wealth Creation.
It's 10:30 p.m. and we're still going with UBC News Tonight. You're still watching. My name is Sharon Kyomugisha, once again joined by Mugalu Muhammad on Sign Language. In more stories, State Minister for Primary Education Joyce Moriko Kaduchu has committed sustained government support to Butabike School for Psychiatric Nursing. This was during celebrations of the Institute's 62nd anniversary that coincided with its 5th graduation ceremony. Take a look.
On the occasion of celebrating 62 years of existence, Butabika School of Psychiatric Nursing has conferred certificates and degrees to more than 300 graduates.
With loyalty, I will endeavor to aid the physician in his work and devote myself to the welfare of those committed to my care. So help me.
But despite that success, the institution still suffers multiple challenges, including a shrink in capitation grant, low staffing coupled with low motivation levels, and a lack of structures.
In the last 5 years, our grant has shrunk already by 40%, which is huge. And yet the numbers of students is going up, and the costs of goods is also going up. But the capitation grant is shrinking every year. Honorable Minister, we have another problem with the grant. It's understandable that shrinking because of COVID, but also it delays. We think that this is because of the policy of taking grants through the local government, through SCCA. We understand this may be an issue of policy, but our prayer, our guest of honor, is that you look into this policy. Is there a way we can get our grants directly to the school account? Because in fact, these principals you see here are accounting officers.
Butabika School of Psychiatric Nursing is the only one in Uganda for mental health practitioners, an area State Minister for Primary Education Joyce Kaduchu promised to address.
This is the only school that we are proud of that offers psychiatric school of psychiatric nurses. However, as government, we are already in the planning as need arises, as we have seen with the COVID pandemic, to see to it that how best we can extend such facilities in other parts of the country.
Kaduchu lauded collaborations the institution has initiated with others like Manchester Metropolitan University and promises to support revision of curriculum that will climax with awarding of degrees. This graduation comes at a time to address what one of Uganda's leading dailies carried early in the week, that 14 million Ugandans are mentally ill and in dire need of attention.
Many people have got post-COVID stress disorder. And this is the time when we need a total healing. We need a mental healing. We need emotional healing. We need psychological healing. We need social healing. And nobody else can provide that, but it is you.
More than 300 graduates walked home with certificates and diplomas in mental health nursing.
Our biggest request to the government is to increase the employment budget for the psychiatric nursing nurses, both certificate holders and diploma holders. Most times, districts employ very few nurses from Butabika, which is challenging to us. Yet people are becoming mentally ill almost on a daily basis.
Well, congratulations to all the graduates. Now, World Bank has proposed to conduct a Uganda's support to municipal infrastructure development mid-term review programs that is aimed at inspecting infrastructure development in cities and municipalities. Lugazi, Jinja, Mbali and Toro are some of the cities and municipalities that were inspected and observed the progress of road construction, street lights, installments and pedestrian walkways, among others.
Every time you find the relationship is very turbulent, what do? You separate, not so. But for us, notwithstanding the bad things we hear, the challenges we hear, we have been stuck and committed to support the urban center.
The USMID program, funded by the Government of Uganda and the World Bank, aims to promote urbanization in cities and municipalities.
The future of Uganda lies in the urban center. Uganda has a finite land area. It is not going to increase, but the population of Uganda is going to increase. So it will be very important as to how our urban centers are planned and managed to provide the necessary density to accommodate the increasing population.
Following inspection of projects under the program in Eastern Uganda, Isaac Mutenyu, coordinator for the USMID program under the Ministry of Lands, noted some of the findings.
I think overall their findings are that although there were some delays on account of the COVID lockdown, that work is moving on very well, and they are hopeful that we should be able to complete most of the projects which we've started by the end of 2023. And they have preliminarily told us as government we should be in a position now to look for how we can sustain the things that we have done in this project after this project comes to a close. And that involves, for instance, making another request or a proposal on how the benefits that have accrued in these cities.
But since the coming in of the USMID, the additional funding, surely like the project its background is to uplift urban areas, to uplift towns, to make towns of more value. Lugazi, from the time it was then to date. When you move around, the face of Gaza has changed completely.
Some of the challenges faced by cities and municipalities in regard to infrastructure development arise from limited funding, hence leaders at different levels calling upon the government and private funders to pay more attention to infrastructure development, of some due to their uniqueness and tourist attractions.
Most roads have islands. If you look at Main Street, this is the type of roads that we have to do in Jinja. And now the area of coverage has increased. It is now bigger. It is much bigger than the old municipality. In fact, it is now 4 times than the old municipality. So the challenge is so big.
Accident zituyitirideko wanyo nnyo ku round about wano. Bulina accident zibeerawo. Era we bate batuteereddewo round about. Tetugenda kuwulira bulungi. Kuba agenda eno alowooza y'omutuufu. Adda eno alowooza y'omutuufu. Kuba kati tebasaawo kipande kiraga nti ono adda eno ono adda eno.
Now moving on from that, following the announcement on the 31st of March 2022 by the National COVID-19 Task Force advising the public to relax in regards to some of the public health measures like wearing masks and using sanitizers, manufacturers of such items are now allegedly registering losses. We have a detailed report from Sandra Kahunde.
Police of Bwambara Sub-County in Rukunjiri District have been facing challenges of accessibility of clean and safe water, and efforts to construct shallow wells have not been yielding enough water supply to the community.
The people who have grown in Bwambara and born in Bwambara have been experiencing this same problem. I myself, I tried to set up a lot of shallow wells for the people because the problem of water has been a problem to us. And I decided to build a lot of shallow wells for people.
However, with the partnership of Compassion International, the problem of trekking long distances in search of clean and safe water is now a story of the past. Victor Kyomugisha is the project director. Compassion International says the project to deliver clean and safe water costed them. Mask and sanitizer business spread rapidly across the nation from late March to 100 million.
3,000 liters per hour. That is where we set it, so that we don't overstress it.
Good, reliable water, which they can use without a lot of problems. Therefore,
this water project has the capacity of supplying 18,000 liters of water per day, but Kyomugisha was quick at appealing to community members to guide the project for sustainable longevity.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves, high-flying saves, unbelievable goals. Out of this world celebration.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Go TV. Love it.
Jennifer, Jukila, my waka. Now come and see for yourself, oh, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo.
Simply deposit 20k or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
Do you hear it? Do you see it?
In Uganda, Tanzania.
That's the sound of business in a developing economy.
For UBC News,
Charlotte Amuge in Kampala.
Catch the weekly business roundup every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. only on UBC TV, inspiring Uganda.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
In our business stories, and as we welcome back from that short commercial break following the announcement on the 31st of March 2022 by the National COVID-19 Task Force advising the public to relax in regards to some of the public health measures, like wearing the face masks and using sanitizers, manufacturers of such items are now allegedly registering losses, and they're asking the government to help.
The mask and sanitizer business spread rapidly across the nation from late March 2020 and gained momentum from April to May. Pharmacies, on the other hand, sold imported face masks, mostly surgical masks, from India and China. Business flourished in areas such as markets, bus stops, small shops and hospital entrances. One could find street hawkers selling locally produced masks, which is not the case this time around, an issue affecting the manufacturers of these items.
You see, now there is a relaxation mode now. Things have been, we can say, relaxed. So obviously the consumption for other things which are for SOPs like masks and sanitizers as well as tissues, it has gone down considerably. But the normal market like schools and household markets, it has remained. But that extra factor has gone now. You can't see much people now on the road wearing masks, and sanitizer use also has been reduced. So that way even tissue consumption had been affected because of that thing. It is on the downside.
Most of these face masks were locally made by tailors who scattered everywhere throughout the city, sew clothes, dresses, skirts and suits. Some of the cloth was sourced from textile industries within the country, while others were sourced outside Uganda. But how come there is low consumption of face masks and the sanitizers within the public?
Ensonga ya sanitizer ne maski obulwadde bwakendera mu ggwanga era twebaza nnyo gavumenti kiyakola okujjanjaba abantu n'okukola ki n'okugema abantu kuba kati obulwadde bwakendeera kati sanitizer tumutwala ku ssomero okunaaba mu ngalo era tunaaba kyabuwangwa okunaaba mu ngalo n'ekirala masiki ojambala kati ogenda mu kifo nga waliwo abantu bangi oba mu bbanka ngaawo bwe watyo naye obanga oli weka ate tukyayambala masiki nnyo nga luli.
Vipers Sports Club head coach Roberto Oliveira has been awarded the Coach of the Pilsner Coach of the Month accolade for the month of April. Oliveira guided Vipers to several successes in Uganda Premier League that have catapulted to the side to its 5th crown. Now the accolade came along with a 1 million Ugandan shillings prize, as was the case for the Pilsner Football Player of the Month, Shaban Mohammed. Shaban Mohammed was in imperious form for whose Onduparaka side that benefited from his striking instincts to secure a respectable position as the league winds down. Now the other prize, like has been at Pilsner Monthly Award, went to Kampala Capital City Authority fan Richard Chikao, who also received a cash prize of 500 Ugandan shillings. And that brings us to the end of UBC News Tonight today on the 13th of May 2022, a beautiful Friday, gearing in for the weekend. Thank you so much for being a part of UBC News Tonight at 10 p.m. My name is Sharon Kyomugisha, and I was joined by Mugalu Mohammed on Sign Language from the team, and I have a lovely night and a great weekend ahead of you. God bless.
It's time to play. Let's go! We're glad you came. Because we love to share. Let's have some fun. What should we try next? With everyone. Because we love to learn together. Making new friends forever. Sesame Street friends.
This week on UBC.
Nearly 1 out of every 3 people is an adolescent. And that means we need to care for these individuals. We know that the health system really caters more for little babies below the age of 1. We also care a lot about children below the age of 5. And when these people become 10 years of age, people tend to ignore them and they fall through the cracks of our healthcare system.
Yeah.
There are those who are extremely vulnerable, like the street children. Those need help as well. But there are also those adolescents who are locked up in tall fences, who will not tell anybody. They'll try to seek their own solutions. And some of them end up harming themselves.
The Doc Talk Show.
This weekend on UBC.
Arriving at the classroom with my cool bike here definitely is not the highlight of the show. The highlight of the show is my old good friend called Peter. Peter Ota, you guys know him, you've heard about him. He's one of the most excellent people when it comes to commentary. This guy can make any down game look so fancy and exciting to watch. You know, when it comes to commentary, I think he ranks as, should I say, number 1?
Bayala, Issa Kabore with a super cross, it's in! What a finish! Hussein Bande! Oh, the coach will be loving that.
Hi, my name is Peter Otai, commentator, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, and I have to admit it's actually very good being here.
Peter, how does it feel to people identifying you by your voice?
Yeah, it actually feels a little special, I have to admit, because not many actually know me when when they've not seen me. Most of my friends actually do know me, but most have seen me on TV. But most will actually identify me from my voice. When I begin speaking is when they begin saying, "Aren't you the guy of Magic and UBC?" Then I'm like, yeah, that's me.
This weekend,
Youth of Purpose. One of the causes of early marriage
in our community is low level of education.
Some parents marry off their daughters and get money.
Some girls are taken up by peer groups and they end up getting pregnant.
Some homes really have illiterate parents, so they don't see the value of a child going to school, and then they end up letting the child marry.
When a young boy involves himself in early sexual businesses, early marriages, you also have such challenges like being unable to parent the child that will come up.
You'll find that some have gotten pregnant at the same time infected with STDs.
In the future, you know, you have your child, your daughter, not educated.
You are not educated.
Pregnant. Your grandchild is not educated. So now the future branches will be what? The chronic poverty in the household.
Youth of Purpose.
Man, what's a weekend without entertainment? To be boring, right?
It would be a weekend without a vibe. There has to be a vibe. And what better vibe than
Horizon Vibe?
Hey, let's go!
Everybody, let's go! Everybody, let's go! Come on now, give it to me. Hey!
True story, man. From the crew to the vibers, we bring you nothing but good vibes. From celebrity interviews.
The song Bikwasagwa I did with Shina Skies, I mean, that was a prayer to me.
Video premieres.